Alright everyone, so this is going to be the follow-up video, or another follow-up video to my damage going on here, plus the toe and camber adjustment after we put the new control arms on. So it's still been too cold for me to get around to buying or installing the new taillight, but I'll show you what we got inside. We did order just a whole new set, but took the other one back. Right now it's got this plastic, it was like a freezer bag kind of a deal that I just taped over there, so that's what we got going for there. I did prime over this as you saw before, but the rust is coming through. So for now, that's just going to have to be, it's going to be nothing more than surface rust for now. So not too big of a deal, but I anticipate when the weather gets better soon, we'll be able to address that, because we'll be able to, all in one glorious go, get both taillights out, put the two new ones in, get the whole back bumper off, and then while the taillight's out and the bumper's off, I can just sand all this down, all the way down to metal. And then we've got some goodies from Harbor Freight inside I'll show you, that we'll be able to use to repair some of this. And then this, I have decided I am just going to go ahead and try to repair it. Once I get the bumper off the car, I might be able to actually mate these two pieces together, kind of stitch her up on the inside, fiberglass resin it, and then once that gets good to go, you know, we're back to where we need to be formed properly. I already bought this piece too, that part's already in, so I'll just pull the other ones off, paint them all with some trim paint so they'll match, and then, yeah, paint the trim, repair the bumper, paint the bumper, reinstall the bumper, pull out what needs to be pulled out here, beat in what needs to be beat in, assuming we can do that, and then we should be much better. Now for the alignment, we did go ahead and get that done. I did put my massive, actually you can see there's one of them right there, my Home Depot special 100 pounds of concrete. I weighed those, by the way. They were 102 pounds. I believe two of them were 104 pounds and one was 102 pounds for my concrete buckets. So we just put, like we were supposed to do, I just put one in the seat with a 50-pound cast iron weight, one in the back with a 50-pound cast iron weight, and then one on the driver's seat with a 50-pound cast iron weight, and I always have 50 pounds worth of stuff in my trunk. So they were able to adjust the toe and the camber. You see she still has some negative camber, but it is within spec, at least according to that sheet they gave me. See, we got just a little bit now, a little bit of negative camber, and our toe is also brought back within spec. So now, and I have noticed since that's been done, I don't have any more vibration. Prior to that, after I replaced the entire suspension, I did have a little bit of vibration still. It was very faint. It wasn't like it was before. But since we've gotten it properly aligned now, there's no more vibration. Everything's good on it. So we'll go inside and I'll show you what we got going on in here. And here's our Harbor Freight stud welder we're going to use to repair that that little crinkle we got in my rear body panel / rear apron. Looks like it's kind of freaking heavy though, man. Let's see if I can... Oh. This thing's not light, but there you go. Chicago Electric Welding Stud Welder Kit. 2-pound slide. It comes with all this stuff right here. I believe it's normally $100. They have 20% off coupon, so you do the math. There she blows. So we're going to use this dude to weld some studs onto that crinkled area after I, you know, try to flatten as much as I can with the body hammers. Then we'll slide hammer those studs, pull it out, you know, tap it back down, and then grind the, oh, that's right, that's what I gotta show you. I'll show you all that other stuff. I got an angle grinder too. We'll reconvene. Alright, so here's the angle grinder, also the Harbor Freight special. Drill Master, I think I paid like 15 bucks or less for this thing. But, you know, I'm not going to use it that often, so we got it, got the wheel. So we're going to grind down our studs once we slide hammer that back into shape. Then we can sand it and prime it and paint it. And where's my body filler? I don't know if that's in here, if I put that up in the drawer. I got so many tools around here in my kitchen. I'm going to have to do a... Alright, so here's what we're going to do to repair the bumper, by the way. We got some fiberglass mat, alright, and we got this cloth, which has little, like, leaves in it. So what I plan on doing is, after stitching up the inside by using my soldering iron, which is also in here somewhere. There she blows. So what I'm gonna plan on doing is getting something like those little staples that come in, that are in the sides of cardboard boxes. This one doesn't have any, but they're long and thin. Surely you've seen them in packaging. You know, they're roughly the size of a nail. They're kind of brass colored anyway. So what I plan on doing with that bumper is heating up with my soldering iron that piece of metal, and it's going to melt into the bumper right up along the crack and kind of stitch it up. And then I can use my fiberglass resin, which is over there somewhere. So we'll put the cloth down and resin it up, harden it, and then we'll use our cloth. I'll do it one way, and then kind of the other way at like a 45-degree angle, make it nice and hard and strong there. And then from there we can use our body filler and smooth it out, sand it, blah, blah, blah. I got this guy, little triangle dude, big triangle dude, and then the rotary for the bumper, and after we Bondo up our dents on that body panel. I guess I'll have to do like a tool thing one of these days, show you what all I got here, because we got a pretty decent amount of tools. Lots and lots of them. And I got more in the basement. Harbor Freight's the shit. Because I've showed you before, that one that I use to pop the ball joints out, that is a must-have. I'm telling you right now. So, that's what we got on that. And we'll reconvene and I'll show you what we got going on with the alignment then, because I have the paperwork down here. Alright, so on the left here was what we had. I believe this is all going to be original. Which was after I put everything on and then drove it down to the guys. This is what it measured at, if you'll recall. So we had toe was off on the front. The camber was off on the front. There's no adjustments for camber, so nothing I could do about that really. And then we were all jacked up on toe and camber in the back. So then we went and then they fixed everything on the front with the exception of the camber, which is off by like negative 0.7 degrees, less than a degree. You can tell looking at it, there's a little bit of negative camber on the front. I'm really not concerned about it. I don't think that's going to cause excessive tire wear at all. Maybe I'm wrong, but I doubt it. If it is, it's not going to be enough that I'm going to care about it. And then the back, this is the best we could do. Negative 2.5, roughly, and the toe of negative 0.17. Still not quite a degree, but off and in the red, causing presumably an issue. Now, they messed up when I went down there. They forgot to save the data for after I put the arms back on, which wouldn't have really made that much of a difference since it would have already changed what they had done. So that is what it is. So these numbers up here and these numbers down here would generally be the before and after, but since they forgot to save it, I just had them put the little dealios back on the wheels and then just do the before and after. In other words, yeah, here's what it is before, and then nothing changes from the after. But so these and that will be the same, but we'll focus on. So as you can see, the front, they did do a little bit of adjustment on the front. Not much of one, but if you look here, right, it used to be 0.11 and 0.14 on the toe, and they did adjust it 0.08 and 0.09. Not that it honestly hasn't made much of a difference to me, but what we mostly care about then is the back. Now you can see what it was. Negative 2.5, negative 2, left and right camber, toe 0.17 and 0.08. 0.09 on each of the toes, and only they took about a degree off on the left camber, and then about a half a degree on the right camber. So back within spec, everything's green, everything's great, drives straight, no issues. And then when you saw, by the time this one comes out, that other video, actually, no, we may be out of order chronologically here. Maybe you might have already seen the other one where I checked the steering angle sensor with my tool. Oh, you know what? Actually, we'll do this video first. This is the machine that I use to calibrate steering angle sensor and read codes and do all that good stuff on my BMW. It is the iCarSoft BM2. This is what the box looks like on the side, all of its little features and stuff. But there you go. You can pause it, I guess, to read all that if you want. But this I paid maybe $150 or less for, I think. For my e38 does require this adapter for the port under the hood, so you can read the serial port and all the other modules. But this video is not about that. You'll see that video in the future. I've already got it filmed. But this one's mostly about the damage update. The alignment has been done. It's just been too cold for me to really make videos on this thing. Today I happen to go out. I have to go to court to sue that guy. So since I was out and about, I figured I'd do a few videos too. And then here's what our new taillights look like. I don't think I've even opened them yet, have I? There it is. Hard to see through the plastic, but it's new. I got both sides because this reflector is different than what's on either side of mine currently, or that even old one for that matter. That other one I bought that was no good. So they'll be uniform, they won't be all different looking, and in the back it does have those individual plugs with the wires, not that weird one plugger inner thing. Alright, the other one just had a little wiring harness that just plugs straight in there. This one's the proper one, has the wires, which goes to that wire harness, which plugs into the back, so no big deal. But that's what we got for taillights. And so I got the copy of the police report earlier. They did mess up on their diagram. I don't think I've actually showed you my diagram yet, but they have it as if I was on Salisbury Street and all this happened, which this part's accurate. It's just that should be over here because that's where it happened. And I think they actually used the same Google image that I used, because on mine there's a truck and everything here too. But mine's a little bit blurrier. So maybe they got it at a different time, but it's funny how this is how they do these traffic crash things now. You know, back in my day when I had to write 1050 reports, we had to draw it manually. Like, we had to get there with a freaking ruler and crap and draw all the streets and blah, blah, blah. So you had to, like, sit there and take notes of the scene of where all the traffic signals were, what everything looked like, and it was a royal pain in the ass. And now we have Google Image, which makes 1050 diagrams a cakewalk, but... You know, here's all his bullshit. That's his vehicle information, and I was right when I guesstimated, because when I took the picture of his VIN, the 5 was missing. I thought it was a 5, and I was right. This is generally correct, except they have the wrong direction. They have us on Salisbury as opposed to on 9th Street. But, you know, I did give him... There's the charge code. Operating motor vehicle, that's going to be without valid proof of insurance. That's a charge code, so they did write him a ticket. But I do also have my hearing, so I had to pay $83.50 plus parking, plus to pay for the police report and all that crap, and, you know, driving around buying tools and getting adjustments made at the body shop. But there we go. I have a court date, 2 of April 2019, so he'll be served hopefully for the next couple weeks. He'll have to show up to court, and then I'll get my judgment. And then we'll see what happens after that if he doesn't lose his job before then, because I believe I've also previously mentioned I did complete Form 1140 on him. So his license is suspended until he gets insurance and until he pays me. So he should have, he already had no insurance. By now, I'm sure his license has been suspended by Department of Revenue. And he's already had the one court date, so he's going to have to pay the fine on no insurance, and then he's going to have to pay me. So even if I never get a dime from this asshole, I have at least, hopefully, inconvenienced him enough that he's fucking pissed. And you know what? Hopefully he's just as pissed, if not more pissed than I was when he rear-ended me after I just finished restoring my Beamer. And since enough time has passed, I don't recall if I've done a video on the Form 1140, but this is what it looks like in Missouri anyway. Department of Revenue, that's the License Bureau. If you can submit Form 1140 on your own, you don't have to wait for your insurance company to do it. What this does is, this is a form you submit to the Department of Revenue. I believe this is, I keep a blank one in my car now, so I can fill it out on scene if I have to get it to these guys as quick as possible. So this is a brand new one that I keep here. This is the one I keep in my car. But this is it. It's similar to a 1050 report, which, if you have experience filling those out like I do, these are pretty easy. You just fill it out, you even draw your little diagram. Mine, I actually did kind of what the police did, Google image, and mine's in pretty good shape. With all this being continuation on a form I filled out, but and this is the black and white copy I believe I made for, so I keep 2 copies in. Or this might even be, yeah, okay, so that's the one I filled out. That's the copy of the one I filled out, so I got 2 copies. A copy of the one I actually filled out, and then a blank copy for the next guy who rear-ends me, or otherwise crashes into me. That's Form 1140. I'm sure your states, if you're watching this from another state, you probably have something similar. Someone hits you with no insurance, you submit this form to them. Email, mail, or fax, and then they start proceedings to verify that he does or does not have insurance, and then when he doesn't, they will suspend his license until he gets it. Or if there's damages done, you also submit the damage done to your vehicle per the body shop, that estimate, and then not only do they not get their license until they get insurance, but they also don't get it until you've been made whole. And doubly so if you have something like the court hearing that I'm going to have, right? If a judgment gets issued against him, the rules in my favor, then he has to pay me or he's never going to get his license back. Now, normally it'll go for 1 year. If you do submit your estimate, which I have laying around here somewhere, I believe, what I got back from Department of Revenue after I submitted it. So you can pause and read that, but that's them wanting my estimate, which I did send to them. So you submit all that, boom, send it to these guys, boom. They yank his license for normally 1 year. So theoretically, he could just never pay you, and then in 1 year he'll just get his license back, assuming he has insurance at the time. But if you have that court paperwork, case number and all that, judgment, then it's indefinite. It is until he pays you or files bankruptcy or whatever the hell he feels like doing, somehow absolving himself of his debt. So, like I said, even if he never pays me, I can at least make his life a living hell, so that every time he gets fucking pulled over driving with no license, they should give him at least another ticket, if not throw his ass in jail. So, you fuck with me, you fuck with the wrong person. This is what is bottom line what I'm saying, what I'm getting at here. So in addition to the body repair and in addition to the video you're going to see about the how to use that scanner on it, I'm going to do the oil change on it. We're eventually going to do fuel filter when it gets warmer. I'll probably do valve cover gaskets just because it looks like we got a little bit of a leak there. So I don't know if that's coming out of the valve cover gasket or if it's something to do with this grommet right here. Maybe this one just happens to be leaking. And we're going to do the Vano solenoid seals. If you look down in here, maybe I'll get a light. If you look down in here, you can see we have oil leaking. So that's going to be The Vanos solenoid seals, we'll get those fixed. Looks like we got a little bit of a leak over here too. I'm not sure what's going on over there, but we'll figure out once we get this acoustic cover off and really look into it. Get this air box off. So that'll be coming up when the parts come in. We're going to do oil change. We're going to do the oil pan gasket underneath, the lower oil pan gasket, because why not, right? And while we're at it, we can check for parts, make sure we don't have any timing chain guide pieces in there. And then we can do those Vanos solenoid seals. That should help with the cold start rattle on startup. It's not going to do much for the sounding like a diesel while it's idling, but that'll at least fix my cold start rattle. And that's really it, I think, is what is on the agenda for this car, unless something else breaks. So you guys are you can look forward to the really boring how to work your scan tool on this thing. And then we're going to do those oils, change the oil, change the lower oil pan gasket, and then when it gets warmer out, we can do the fuel filter, and we still have to do the brake lines on the front, or the brake hoses rather on the front. We did the ones in the back, remember? Still haven't done the ones on the front. It's just been too cold. This winter has been brutal here in Missouri. It's always cold. It's always snowing or sleeting or whatever. And even tonight we have like freezing rain or something is going to be coming our way. So once we get this stuff done, once the weather's over with, I can go back to start making stuff regularly on this. Not that there's much to do. Repair is going to take a while for the body work. Get that done, and then we'll go back to that guy over there. So, all right, guys. Sorry this video is long and boring, but I figured I'd give you an update on status of repair, where we are, and status of the court with that guy who crashed into me, and then what we have so far to repair it with, and what we have up on the agenda for the future. So thanks for watching, guys. Peace.